p.m. 4:30 p.m. Please turn your cell phone to the vibrate, silence, or off setting. The Gary Sansing Public Forum is intended for matters not included on the agenda for the upcoming Board of County Commissioners meeting. Citizens wishing to address items on the agenda should sign up to speak to such item at the regular Board of County Commissioners meeting. Speakers shall refrain from abusive or profane remarks, disruptive outbursts, protests, or other conduct which interferes with the orderly conduct of the Gary Sansing Public Forum. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes unless otherwise determined by the chairman to allow sufficient time for all speakers. The first speaker of the day is Gabrielle Davis.
My name is Gabrielle Davis. My address is 6020 Songbird Drive, Pensacola, Florida. Good evening. Over a year and a half ago, I discussed this problem with Commissioner May, who at that time told me that he would be looking into it. It was election time, and he said he would wait till after it was over in the first of the year. I haven't heard anything from him since, nor have I been able to reach him by phone or personal. I had a licensed contractor build a shed for me when I was having my pool installed. Well, 4 years later, after that was done, my wife took over as HOA president, and one of our neighbors decided that due to something she had done, he would call code enforcement. Code enforcement came out and measured it and found that the shed was 1 3/4 feet off the line. So that means that we would have to move it or tear it down. It was built on concrete. As that went on, I went to the county to find out, because we hired a licensed contractor, Florida Finest. So I went to the county to find out what could we do to make that contractor come out and do it right. I found out he had not pulled the permit at all. I also found out something else too. It was ultimately my responsibility as a property owner to ensure not only that a permit was issued, but also that it met code. Now remember, I'm not a contractor, so I didn't know anything about code or anything like that at all. What wound up happening was I had to tear it down because code enforcement only gave me 10 days to have it moved. Well, I could not get anybody to move it in that short period of time because they were all busy. So I needed the shed, so I had to tear it down, which cost me $2,375, and built another one, which cost me $3,500. I'm here today to ask you as county commissioners. I've talked both to the COB director and also I've talked Mr. Hart Jones, trying to get something put in the permit process. On my radio show, on my podcast show, I spoke about this and I had several people call, so I realized I'm not alone. I'm trying to get you to put in the permit process some block that tells the homeowner, the property owner, that they're ultimately responsible for all of this. Florida Finest does not have a county license, has a state license. So I had to go to the state. When I went to the state, they told me it would take 2 to 3 weeks, and code enforcement didn't give me that much time. So what I'm trying to tell you is that I realize after talking and running this through, that may be opposition from the Buildings Association, even also contractors. But the contractors are responsible, should be held responsible, to tell the property owner that they are responsible for knowing about code and they're responsible for making sure a permit is pulled. Because at the end of the day, it is the property owner that has to pay the cost to have all this done. I did. It cost me over $7,000. And Florida Finest, they still having business. They don't care.
Okay.
Again, I ask in final, please, I know if open forum is just talking, but I ask you to really look into it because property owners deserve this.
All right, thank you. Andrew Brewer.
Andrew Brewer, 6101 Midas Place. I'm down here because of the mistreatment I had this morning by deputy sheriffs, and I guess the pit bull wanted to be escorted out of the building. And that is unfair on y'all's part to try to shut me up just because I'm smarter than all y'all down here. I've got a complaint with Janice Gilley. For over a year now, I've been trying to have a meeting with her. Jeff Bagosh, you know that I've been trying to have a meeting with her. How come you haven't set up and told her, hey, have a meeting with Andrew? It's been over a year. The one time I did set up a meeting with her, it was canceled because the fire department had a sexual harassment claim or whatever, and she said, oh, this is an emergency, we got to cancel the meeting I had with her, and she never would reschedule it. And then Sharon, the pit bull or whatever, when I tried to reschedule another one, she goes and shows herself. So I've got complaints at HR on Sharon Pitts, Janice Gilley, Wes Marino, and I said Joy Young, but it actually should be Joy Jones. So Edward, please correct that. And I tried to talk with Janice Steele this morning, and basically I got escorted out, which doesn't make sense to me. I was my normal self, kind, gentle, cordial, and it didn't happen. This afternoon, Wesley Hall, I haven't filed a complaint against him, but Wesley Hall comes at it like he was some Doberman or something other like that, that Sharon Pitts sicked on me. I don't appreciate it. All 5 of you county commissioners work for me. Janice Gilley, you work for the 5 county commissioners, so actually you work for me. And I can't get an appointment with you. You've got a master's in administration, you got a bachelor's in communication, and you can't communicate with me. I don't know what the problem is. Somebody needs to check some more resumes. I also want sidewalks on Softly Field. Why can't we have that? Y'all putting sidewalks everywhere, but you're not putting sidewalks on Softly Field. Why is that? If Underhill can have sidewalks on both sides of Gulf Beach Highway, why can't we have a sidewalk on at least on one side of Softly Field?
All right. Thank you, Mr. Brewer.
Thank you.
Terry Knock.
Hey, sir, where they take out the K?
Nope. Go ahead.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm Terry Knock. I reside at 4630 Francisco Road, Pensacola, Florida, 32504. Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Board. I came before this board on June the 19th of 2019 to ask for your assistance in reviewing the conflicts of interest that exist between the contractor that caused significant damage to our home, our health, and our finances, and the Contractor Competency Board, which is my understanding is an extension of the BOCC. During that meeting, Allison Rogers stated that y'all have an assistant county attorney who sits with the board for all of its meetings and does specifically help provide guidance to them on conflicts of interest. Ms. Rogers also made misleading statements that were factually incorrect and shaped the narrative to discredit my concerns. And I quote, "Complaints were filed by the homeowner with the state. Multiple complaints were filed with the state. They were either all dismissed or no action taken." Ms. Rogers then went on to advise that there would be no substantial reason at all to entertain my complaint. Today, Board, I am asking that you revisit the conflicts of interest and the ethical concerns that I previously raised to you, gentlemen, and that I discussed personally with you, Madam Administrator, at which time you informed me that the conflicts of interest would have to show that a financial transaction took place between a board member and a respondent. And I did assure you that, in fact, I would be able to provide that documentation in terms of a real estate deal that took place on May the 19th of 2019 between one of the board members of the CCB and the respondent, just 1 month before I brought this to your attention. So again, I ask, where are the county attorney's assertions that you do conflict of interest checks? Because according to you, Ms. Gilley, that would qualify. And that was 1 month prior to me coming before you, and you, Ms. Rogers, providing multiple misleading statements to discredit me. And also, there's another board member who has real estate transactions dating as far back as 2015, along with sitting on a board of directors with a charter school, charity, and having multiple photographs taken with the respondent out drinking at social events. So, Ms. Rogers, is it your position that none of these instances constituted a conflict of interest? And gentlemen, it is my hope today that you will take this as my good faith attempt, again, to bring to your attention the ethical concerns that your county building services staff and attorneys are either hiding from you or that you are complicit in understanding, so that you guys are not blindsided as I was as this unfortunate situation progresses outside of your jurisdiction.
Thank you, Ms.
I am
Knox.
happy to meet with any of you to review the 5 final orders of probable cause action that have been found by state, local, and federal agencies to verify my
Ms.
claim.
Knott, can you please wrap it up?
I am wrapping it up.
Okay. Well,
And I'm happy to show you that what happened here is not an isolated incident, that the practices and the loopholes that have been found are rampant in this county, and I'm not 100% sure that your constituents don't deserve better. I believe they do deserve better than what Ms. Rogers and Ms. Gilly are allowing to facilitate, because at present, it's illegal.
thank you. Melissa Pino?
Mr. Chairman, I can't remember the speaker's name, but I think Tim Tolbert, our building inspector, has just walked in. So
Yep.
I would say that if you would get with Tim, I mean, your concerns, I certainly would love to hear, but if you would get with Tim and make an appointment in the office, I'd love to talk to you about it.
Are you saying that you want me to make an appointment with Mr. Tolbert?
I'd like for you to talk to Mr. Tolbert, and then you can make an appointment in my office. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, sure, okay. Easily.
Thank you, Chairman Bender. I just want to make sure everybody understood. Terry was saying that after she was mocked by the county attorney, who led you guys to believe that she had put in multiple complaints on a state level when that had not actually happened, the city put in a complaint with the DBPR. But after she left here, Terry was more than happy to go escalate things, and it's now gone all the way up to the Department of Ag, and she has 5 probable cause letters and financial documentation. So I just wanted to underline that part, and I hope Mr. Tolbert will help her, because I think the world of Tim. Bouncing back to the morning agenda review, boy, we got to see the full machinery on display today, didn't we, gentlemen? It's a mockery. This is why your county staff are coming down with chronic health conditions, having to work in this atmosphere under this administration. And if you think that that was just an isolated incident, this is how this county is operating on a day-to-day level. People in fear for their jobs, no due process, paperwork constantly being hidden. And so, Commissioner Underhill, I wonder where the paperwork is on the 2 paramedics that came to you and admitted that they didn't have their PALS certification when you ran your bogus clemency period that nobody knew about. I know who those folks are, okay? Where's the handwritten notes from Paulette Stallworth, God bless her, on Chris Kerb's verbal complaint? Janice still is lying. She makes paperwork go away all the time. County staff, if you're going to put in harassment complaints, do not put them in verbally, put them in writing. I don't know if there's a box that this stuff goes into. I don't know if they burn it, but it's putting huge stress on the good people in the HR department and everybody in this county. This is just like when I gave Ms. Gilly the names of the 5 harassment complaints, very serious written complaints, and she lied to y'all and told you that I never gave you the names of them. Conveniently, 3 of those people are now up on charges at the state's attorney's office. Those were 4 complaints for toxic workplace, and one of them went in on the former fire chief on a sexual harassment case. Now, true enough, Jack Brown started the cover-up, but Janice Gilley 2.0'd it. And Commissioner Underhill, there was no secret evaluation of Dr. Edler. That was just another thing that got orchestrated and cooked up, just like what you gentlemen saw today. And honestly, your staff must think you're easy cons, that they will so willingly stand up here and lie to your face. They wrote Dr. Edler up twice. She knew about it. They then did her evaluation, and then Miss Gilley came to the county and told everybody to back off Dr. Edler, so they had to come up with the bogus explanation that it was a super secret interview that had been Matt Coughlin's fault. The fault lies in this room right now, gentlemen, and it really needs to stop.
Kevin Wade?
It stays now. Kevin Wade, 413 Southeast Boblets. And again, no reasonable person would be expected to believe some of the things that have been happening. Oh, empty box. It was still an empty box. The outrage over the empty box far supersedes so much of the outrage over so much that has happened throughout this county over a box and its labels. That outrage was spectacular. The outrage of households, one that I know of, daily hours of phone time with people throughout the county, all upset because they're going, I made a complaint. Complaint's gone. What? I cannot understand. And Commissioner Underhill and I served in the military. Many people in this room served in the military. We know documents go in the folder. Everything goes in the folder. It always goes in the folder. If something bad happens, it goes in the folder. And you know what? Over the years, the evaluations that follow end up showing corrections, and that the person who had the problem, or somebody that was exemplary in what they did, you can track how they progress. And I want to see this county progressing to the point where what goes on gets noted and it goes into the personnel files. It should be in the personnel file. It should not be a lie to you, sir, that when you make a public record request, and you know, as most of us do, when you make a public record request, you pretty much know some of the documents that you're requesting. You also request others as well. And when there's a particular document that's requested, but it doesn't show up in the public records request, or even from your superior, the document, oh, wasn't in the folder, it was not in the file cabinet, oh, it was in a manila envelope on top of the file cabinet. But we thought, hey, it said for your eyes only. Should have been in the employee's record. And over again this happens. And it is not accepted practice anywhere to just leave some stuff out, because what that does is that leads to ability for particular people to extort others with documents that they can slide in later because they got the dates on them. And you all know that. And what happened this morning and what was said by one of our little directors, unacceptable. Human relations?
Thank you, Kevin.
Yeah, from the back of an ambulance headed up to the, what was that? The firing range? Play with the lights.
Okay. All right, board, that's our last speaker. We'll reconvene at 5:30.